To me, history isn't just a thought or a word or a dead idea, it's what you make it. We have the opportunity to make history with the NWA. Trust me, legacy means something. History means something.
World's heavyweight champion.
When you look at a champion, it's not just somebody who's holding a piece of metal, in this case 10 pounds of gold. You're looking at somebody that truly is carrying forth the business.
William Patrick Corgan is not a stranger to the city of Nashville, Tennessee. This trip has a dual purpose for the president and owner of the NWA.
Hey, Ruff, can I have an E-flat guitar? When I was a kid growing up in the 1970s in Chicago, Illinois, I was only in a few things: rock and roll music and professional wrestling. Oddfellows though they be, they put two dreams in my mind, which would be that one day I could be involved in professional wrestling and one day I could be involved in music. Obviously, music worked out okay. But lo and behold, I found myself in a position where I could work in professional music and be part of the business. And I love the business. And so, to people who doubt my commitment and my interest in the National Wrestling Alliance, I would say people doubted my willingness to be involved in rock and roll music.
The man standing center stage for the NWA is also the man holding the 10 pounds of gold, proudly from his mountaintop. NWA World's Heavyweight Champion Tim Storm.
It's an incredible view up here. I'd never want to come down. I'd never want to come off the mountain.
But now, a new challenge has come into focus.
Oh, wait a minute, Nick Aldis. What? Nick Aldis is here.
Williams' desire to work in professional wrestling dates back over 15 years.
Once upon a time in a land far, far away, I succumbed to this building here in Nashville, a little wrestling company called TNA Wrestling. And the president of the company used to invite me to come have lunch, give my opinions on the progress of the product. And lo and behold, I ended up working for this company and throwing a bunch of my hard-earned money. And one day they booted me right out in the street too. Very American tale. But the funny thing is I went on and bought my own wrestling company called the National Wrestling Alliance. Founded in 1948, the National Wrestling Alliance bound together disparate promotions across America and ultimately the world to form a unified vision of professional wrestling. And what attracted me to buying the National Wrestling Alliance is I believe there's an opportunity once again to stitch together different interests, different talents, and different visions across the world of professional wrestling. In essence, professional wrestling's future is really bound in its diversity and not its unanimity.
I could talk about where I've been, what I've done, the championships I've held, but it doesn't matter. What matters is the championship I want to hold next. The championship that has the longest lineage in the business, from Lou Thesz, Dory Funk Jr., Jack Briscoe, Terry Funk, Harley Race, Ric Flair, it goes on, and now I want that lineage to join my legacy.
Because I not only represent the interests of the NWA in 2017 and where we want to take it in the future, I also carry forth the mantle for all the great champions.
You don't mind going out and having to wrestle somebody. That's what you do for a living, and it's what I do better than anyone on the face of the earth.
And see that the great history of that belt carries forth, that it can still mean something.
That does not make a wrestler. A wrestler
is what I am. I am not a striptease artist, or I am not a bodybuilder.
When you look at a champion, it's not just somebody who's holding a piece of metal, in this case 10 pounds of gold. You're looking at somebody that truly is carrying forth the business.
I want you worse than I've ever wanted any human being on the face of the earth. And I'm going to have you, I'm going to show you that those pumped up muscles aren't what it takes to be champion.
I could argue that the belt's never been more relevant. Heck, you point to anything that still means something in this world 70 years later. I could think of the Beatles, I could think of Elvis, and as far as I'm concerned, that belt is Elvis. Whoever holds that belt, that means something, and that ain't gonna change.
Consider this a challenge.
And someone much smarter than me once said that every great journey begins with a step.
For the NWA World Heavyweight Championship.
Well, our first step in the National Wrestling Alliance is to announce a World Heavyweight title match. Our champion, NWA World Heavyweight Champion Tim Storm versus Nick Aldis. November 12th, Los Angeles. Championship Wrestling from Hollywood.
Tim Storm, Nick Aldis, November 12th, Los Angeles. Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. Who will walk out with 10 pounds of gold?